Dracula has taken over single target arena, but that doesn't mean that we cannot run the typical watchguard team with your Wukong and your Kigiri, so let's update those timings in this video. What's good guys, Mango here with another Watcher of Realms video, and today, as I've said before, we have single target arena. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the Watcher teams, mainly because I've always loved the Chaos mechanics and in general Chaos champs, and it is the team I actually run. However, when I'm doing takeovers and when I'm playing on other accounts, I tend to run a Watcher team, mainly because this new meta with Dracula requires him to have some decent awakenings that not everyone can run. So, the main difference in the single target team that we run these days, so the typical Ingrid, Erlis, Wukong, Diao, and of course Kigiri, the main difference is that we used to have the timings ready to kill the enemy while he was spawning the last enemy just by using Kigiri's ultimate. Right now, that meta has shifted. Now, Wukong is the one finishing the waves, mainly because with this team, you can no longer hit Chaos teams. You have to focus on beating other high BP Watcher teams. That's super important. As far as replacements, no Ingrid, you can use Leia. No Earlys, you can use Elowen, but it will be harder. The two requirements, well, three, are Diao, Wukong A5, and Kigiri A5. I've seen this team with Kigiri A3, but you will have a hard time in Apex using Kigiri A3 because of the RNG. So no more talking, this time I will showcase the timings here so you guys can copy the video, but not in live because I would then need to redo my single target arena with Valderon, and I'ma be honest, not worth the effort for one video. It might take me 1 hour or 2 hours to just redo those timings, so too much effort for me. Let me move myself as always to the right, there we go, and let's start. So here what we're gonna do, and you gotta be fast here, is place Wukong. The first few rounds are pretty simple, and this is why now you tend to lose against Dracula and Valderon teams. Before, you could lose this round against Valderon teams, however, later in the game, since they had actually lower BP, you would come back the game just by beating the waves so early. That has changed with Dracula. Dracula now just kills waves way too close to the spawn with the help of Wukong, so it became a pretty big issue for those people that have to run Watcher teams. But as said, the only thing that has really changed is that now, instead of running Watcher teams against Chaos teams, we are running Watcher teams against other Watcher teams. So it's not a huge deal, guys. You can still run your Wukong Kigiri team, which honestly, and I might get some hate for this, I think it's quite, I would say decent or fun that we get to use two limiteds in arena, because in the end, it allows more people, at least more endgame players, even if they are free to play but have been playing for a long time, to run a meta team in arena, mainly because we're using two limiteds. We have gotten many soulstones over the months or even the years at this point, and even though it's not something easy for everyone to achieve, having both Wukong and Kigiri A5, it is more doable than just getting Valderon A3, Valderon A5, Dracula A3, and that kind of stuff. Of course, the main drawback with this kind of teams that use more achievable champs is that to actually make a difference against other enemies, instead of just requiring good timings, you will also require good gear, more than with other teams. Because of course, if everyone is running the same team and all of you guys can achieve the same timings, the difference will always come down to gear. And that's why some people with Chaos teams but higher awakenings can actually reach higher ranks than someone using the typical Watcher teams. Okay, now we just gotta wait. And the the main thing that has changed will begin now. If you guys remember, we used to wait and kill the first enemy in this wave, for example, with Kigiri, with Wukong, and then we would one-shot second and third right when he was spawning with Kigiri. Right now, that doesn't actually work. We have to wait for Kigiri to kill the mobs in between the round and then finish the waves with Wukong. Purely because right now, Kigiri doesn't have enough damage to completely wipe two mobs with just one ultimate. As you guys can see, they are still at 30 to 40% HP, so we then need to do some basic attacks, some extra damage, and before, when you were facing lower BP Chaos teams, he was able to wipe both waves at the same time. Also, the good thing with this is, even though Ingrid Awakenings are helpful, they are not required, because in the end, what helps here is her A3 and the A2. The A2 is actually more important than the A3 because it gives extra attack for both Kigiri, Wukong, and the Ao. But apart from that, she's not the main DPS unit from here. I still think that having good Cataclysm set is the best thing that any account could have for the current arena meta. Here I will showcase what I mean by Kigiri not having enough damage. We are on the perfect position. We have Watchguard bonus, and also Kigiri is going to ult this enemy and the last one. Before, when you were facing those Chaos teams I mentioned, Kigiri was able to kill this enemy and the next one, because this enemy would actually hit Kigiri's passive with the ultimate, and he would kill both of them. You guys will see that now on a perfect case scenario with Watchguard bonus and really OP gear, he barely kills the guy even if he's able to. So that's the perfect case scenario. Keep in mind, Watchguard bonus, it's a huge damage increase to all the allies. If you don't have that, he's just not able to kill the waves as he used to be. So that's why, except on round 8, because the timings are way better than like this, except on this round, we tend to kill all the waves with Kigiri, with Wukong ultimate on the last enemies. Of course, the other ones can just be killed as usual using Kigiri, using Wukong, but the final mob of every round should always try to be killed with Kigiri. Now, second issue of this video, and something people won't like, the gear. This is super high BP, okay? Most Watcher teams will be around 600, 580 to 605. That would be ideal. This is super high BP. I got lucky, I pulled quite a lot of earlys with not so many summons because I got pretty good rates on her, so my BP is actually higher. Let's see if I lost. I did lose indeed. My team sucks in defense, but let's go through the year. As I've said, it's pretty good year, but of course, you are not gonna be facing people with 640k BP every single time. So, Wukong. Cataclysm. Speed is really important on him. Don't get him, I mean, I would at least try to get him to 400 speed. If you get to higher numbers, even better, but the main thing is Cataclysm. Why? Because round 1, when you're not ulting with him, you really need that extra damage to kill the waves slightly faster. Even if it is 5 to 10 seconds, it will make a difference. Then, if you can, which I cannot, run a Watchguard exclusive on both Wukong and Kigiri. And if you have to choose, run it on Wukong. Wukong these days, it's almost or slightly more important than Kigiri in Arena against other high BP teams. But if you cannot, run a full DPS set, okay? Like this one. Wukong doesn't need HP, don't worry about it. Kigiri does, but Wukong can go full DPS. So here I have really good piece, and here a critless chest, and of course the exclusive on him, which I can improve quite a lot, but works good enough. Now, Kigiri gear. Kigiri requirement 50 to 60k attack. If you go under 50k, you will be able to beat enemies at around, I would say, 560 to 580 kbp, but above that, he will instantly die once round 6, 7, 8, 9 arrives. So, we have some pieces, pretty good pieces, with HP bonus, and full attack. Here I'm running Nightmare. If you're asking yourself, is it better to run Nightmare or Watchguard, or I have both? I have to pick one for each champ, one for Kigiri, one for Wukong. Kigiri, Watchguard. Wukong, if you don't have two Watchguard exclusives, run him in Nightmare, okay? But it is more important to have the Watchguard exclusive on Kigiri, mainly because Wukong can get, Wukong with the Nightmare exclusive can stun the enemies way more times, and that's why it is a bit more important on him. Here are this piece that I was able to get the other day. Pretty happy, my best piece in my account, so pretty happy with that. And here, quadroll without crit rate, just because we are able to crit cap. And of course, exclusive. Then we have Ingrid, Infernal Roar set, pretty good pieces as well, just like that. Now, I'm not crit cap, but I don't worry too much, because she has close to 500 speed. Even if we miss some basic attacks, it's not a huge deal. She's there to support our Wukong and Kigiri, so Tear of Twilight. And then we have Earlys, really important here. Earlys always in Tia's Balm for Watcher teams. Enemies do so much damage that if you are not running her on this piece of gear artifact, most of the time you won't be able to beat such high of a BP compared to running this team. So for running this year. So for example, if you were running, let's say, Golden Scarab, you might be able to beat teams at around 580k. If you run TS Bound, that BP threshold can increase up to 600 or even 605. It does make a huge difference because your Kigiri is not in risk of dying as much. And then as far as gear, the ideal 3 pieces are 1 attack bonus, 1 attack speed, and 1 healing effect, and then focus on getting attack bonus, speed, and healing effect on the left side. And of course Diao, typical Diao build, attack bonus with attack bonus with attack, that's it. And of course, if you have it, the exclusive, and if you don't, the Golden Scarab. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you cannot run a Chaos team, this team is plenty to reach Apex, so don't worry too much. You don't need this gear, okay? Of course, I could have done the video with worse gear, but I feel like that's too much effort for nothing, because in the end, I will keep running the Chaos team, but I think it's quite interesting to showcase how the timings and the way we deal with the waves has changed with this new meta. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Once again, if I'm not lazy, I might try to push to rank 1, but I highly doubt it. I don't like to wake up early just to play arena. So that has been the video for today. Let me know in the comments any question or whatever you need, and I'll be there answering all of you guys. Bye.